I'm here today with Dr. Rachael Rudolph, the newest addition to our political science department. How are you doing today?
I'm well.
All right, good. Actually, you've only been here in Emory for just 2 months almost, so how do you like Emory so far?
It's wonderful. I really like the students.
Yeah, how's it different from the other places you've either worked or lived?
It's not too much. It's not too different from where I've lived previously, but the classes are a lot smaller, and so there's more interaction between the students and myself. It's not so much lecture.
Right, because you were an instructor at West Virginia University before this, is
Yes,
that right?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So actually, in your biography, you are releasing 3 books in less than 2 years. Is that right?
Yes.
This 2 upcoming years.
Yes.
That's incredible.
2008.
That is incredible. And the books are all about, what are they about?
The first one was I co-authored with a friend of mine. It was called From Terrorism to Politics. We look at resistance movements who have made the transition to political parties, but we do so globally.
Okay.
The next one is actually my dissertation, which is looking at mobilization of Islamic resistance movements in Algeria, Palestine, and the Philippines. And then the third one, which will also be out this year, is on Saudi counterterrorism policy from 1929 to 2003.
So you're a specialist in Middle Eastern politics, basically. That's where your focus is?
That's my area of interest,
That's
yes.
your areas of interest. So do you know the solution to the Middle Eastern crisis at the moment?
I would say negotiations with Hamas.
All right. Well, did you hear that? You heard that, everybody. That's the solution. Also, you do a lot of traveling. You travel to and from, is it Jordan and Palestine? Is that right? But you do a lot of Palestinian humanitarian work.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
In terms of house rebuilding projects, so we help to rebuild houses that have been destroyed by the Israeli Defense Forces. In terms of assisting with the different communities and with their activities and so forth.
That sounds amazing. You're also understandable. You understand 4 different languages. Is that right?
In terms of my reading and writing capabilities.
So it's Arabic, Spanish, French, and Italian.
Yes.
Wow. Could you teach me something in Arabic, like how are you?
Sure. You would say كيف حالك.
كيف حالك. كيف حالك. How did you end up here at Emory?
I couldn't refuse the offer.
You couldn't refuse the offer?
Not
what
at
was
all.
it about Emory that just made it?
It's the small atmosphere. The Dr. Saliba, yes, Dr. and Dr. Lane as well. I mean, they were warm. Have you ever met people that you feel like that you've known them forever? Yeah. Both of them were like that.
Yeah, they are like that. All the professors here, you have a really close relationship with. Let's see, you've traveled a lot in your life. Where are the different places that you've gone?
I lived in El Salvador for almost a year when I was 14 in 1993. That was right after the Civil War. And then, so my mom, we drove from Maryland all the way into Mexico City. So we spent time in Mexico. We took a bus into Guatemala after we sold the car in Mexico. So then we stayed there for a while before moving on to El Salvador. I've traveled to, of course, Jordan lots of times, Palestine, and London.
Oh, that's incredible. What is the most outstanding part of your life? Like, what's your one achievement that you are just so proud of in your life?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yes.
And her name's Mercedes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she sounds like a great girl. What, like, just the highlight of your life, is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets about your life? Something you wish you would have done, or things that you want to do later? Goals?
I don't have any regrets, because everything, even though some of the things I've done in the past, we all had bad experiences, but they make me who I am today. So I don't have any regrets. What I wish I could do in the future, maybe share some of my experiences so that others don't make the same or take the same path.
Right, that's actually very admirable. And your goals for the future, what do you want to do as a teacher, as a writer, as a traveler? What are your goals for the future?
For myself personally, to learn, and as a teacher, to help others to love some of the subjects that I do, and so they can have a better understanding of the Middle East and Islam in particular.
Oh, that's great. You're teaching 4 classes this semester, is that right? What are the classes you're instructing this semester?
I'm teaching Islamic law, international relations, Middle East politics, and the first global civilization.
How are those going so far?
Pretty good. The
Pretty
students are absolutely wonderful.
Are they?
I have to say, I look forward to going to class every single day.
What is something about Islamic law that you think people outside of the class should probably know?
In terms that in Islam, the practice of Islam, and even in terms of the role of Islam within politics itself, it's not homogenous. There are many different, and so if you understand Islamic law, you understand the differences, interpretation, what it means if somebody says they want to create an Islamic state.
Oh, well, that's incredible. And what classes are you planning on teaching in this spring?
Islamic civilization, U.S. foreign policy towards the Middle East, and international relations.
That's great. You're bringing a real big Islamic focus into the political science department. I'm sure a lot of people are really appreciating that. Just basically to close off, like, what is one fact about you that you think that people would want to know? What's your interesting little thing about Dr. Rachael Rudolph that everybody should know?
I have no idea because of being a private person, but I could say what I love the most would be political activism.
So has that been your passion for your life? Is that
Yeah, since I was a little girl, in an international context.
So what does that mean exactly? What political activism? Like, what was your goal for that?
In terms of helping others who need help, and in terms of demonstrations, anything, things that relate to political activism, but on an international scale.
And what are you doing now for political activism here? I mean, I know you do the traveling to Palestine, but what are you doing as far as here at Emory? Just, is it your publishing? Is it the traveling? Are you planning on doing more?
Not so much, because at first you want to be objective when you're writing. So not so much through writing, but to some extent, because we all have our own biases.
Yeah. Are you
But in terms of like the U.S. campaign against Israeli occupation, participating in that.
How can we help with that? How can any people on this campus help with political activism as far as that goes?
I would say just be informed. That's all. Not so much in getting involved, because that's a step that somebody they wouldn't have to make that. But just read the news, and not read news from the Middle East. Read news from Britain, and not just U.S. news.
That's actually a great tip for life. We're actually out of time, but thank you so much for joining me today.